This program contains dramatizations of real people and events. Some names have been changed. This program is for mature audiences only. It contains graphic images which may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. In Connecticut, a brutal slaying with no suspects. Police turn to a psychic for guidance.
You place yourself in a position where you're open to thought. And you ask yourself questions, and then you seek answers.
A worried California family needs to find someone who saw what happened to their little boy. Someone like a psychic.
I was looking for the boy to see if we could get him while he was still alive.
When clues are scarce and answers elusive, investigators sometimes turn to a psychic witness. New Haven, Connecticut. On July 16, 1973, the Baker family begins their day together, as they always do. Robert Baker is a hard-working small business owner. He's proud of his two daughters, 16-year-old Carla, still in school, and 21-year-old Allison, a dental hygienist. Since the loss of his wife 10 years earlier, Robert has worked to keep his family together. And now, they're closer than ever. But that's all about to change.
Don't you have to be somewhere?
Today, Allison starts the search for a new job.
All right. Oh, bye, Dad.
See you. Be good.
Mwah.
Good luck.
See you, kiddo.
Okay.
At 1 p.m. that afternoon, in downtown New Haven, a maintenance worker heads to the 10th level of a parking garage. On the stairs, blood. Investigators from the New Haven Police Department respond. It's Allison Baker, dead from a stab wound to the chest. Detectives find blood on the railing and follow drops of blood away from the body. The trail leads down to the 9th level. Where it ends. Detective George Mazzacane.
At this particular point, several detectives and patrolmen are dispatched throughout the garage to make a physical search from the top floor down, looking for any evidence, any witnesses.
On the 8th level, an erratically parked car. Allison's.
There was blood on the door handle. There was blood on the dashboard, blood on the steering wheel, blood on the gear selector. There was a box of tissue, and there was clearly a blood fingerprint on the box.
Forensic testing reveals the blood is a different type than Allison's. Likely the killer's. Robbery does not appear to be the motive for the murder.
In the car, the pocketbook is observed on the seat. It's searched, a wallet is in there, ID is in there. Everything appears to be intact.
A second blood trail leads away from the car to another stairwell and down to the 6th level. where they find a rag with more blood on it. Detectives suspect the killer dropped it there. They need to find witnesses and locate several who all saw different pieces of the crime.
There were two young boys who said that they were on the 9th level of the garage when they heard a scream. And a young girl wearing a blue dress and a man chasing her. The man had a knife. And then they ran out of sight.
On the 8th level, two mall employees were enjoying their break. From their description of the car, detectives believe it was Allison's, but it wasn't her driving. Another witness, the ticket taker, tells investigators a suspicious man handed him a bloody ticket.
And he said the man was sweating and hiding his left hand. Now the ticket taker at this point says, "Are you injured? Can I help you?" He said, "No, thanks," and then drives out quickly. The ticket taker gave a description of this individual as a white male in his late 20s, possibly early 30s, medium build, mustache, hair on the longer side, dark in color.
It's a complicated crime scene, with evidence spanning multiple levels of a massive parking garage. Police need to make sense of it to catch the man who killed Allison Baker. As they go, they'll face unexpected twists and false suspects, and call in a psychic to help uncover the truth.
If it's a murder, how did it happen? What happened? And when did it happen? You ask questions in time, and then you seek answers.
In New Haven, Connecticut, police struggle to solve a heartbreaking murder. The victim is 21-year-old Allison Baker. Based on witness statements and evidence, investigators theorize how the crime occurred. From the parking tickets, they know the killer entered the garage before Allison. It seems she was a random target. Allison arrived alone. According to Detective George Mazzacane.
We determined that this young lady had been approached by a man with a knife.
Get in the car.
Okay.
Get in the car.
Okay.
Move over.
Okay.
And he drove the vehicle up to the top of the garage.
Don't move. Stay right there.
Police believe Allison took matters into her own hands.
At that point, she made an attempt to make good her escape.
And was seen by the two young boys.
He chased her a short distance. She ran up a flight of stairs instead of running down the stairs. The door was locked.
As the killer fled, he trailed blood from his cut hand. He drove Allison's car down to the 8th level, narrowly missing the store employees. The killer then ditched the car and, trailing more blood, headed downstairs, where investigators believe his car was parked. Police checked local hospitals, yet none report any recent patients with cut hands. Allison's father, Robert Baker, faces the grim reality that his daughter is gone.
They were very close. His wife died at an early age. He never remarried. His daughter became the female head of the household. It was like losing his wife all over again. Only it was more senseless than the first one. And he never got over it. Basically, that was his life, was trying to find the person who killed his daughter.
Robert immerses himself in the case, poring over every report, following every development. He will not rest until his daughter's killer is brought to justice.
We're running out of leads here. At this point, the rag comes back from being analyzed, and it indicates that the person who had the rag worked with Freon, which is a propellant in auto body paint, red lead, different types of oil, grease, nicotine, sweat, and they felt whoever had the rag was in fact an auto body mechanic. So we compiled a list of all the auto body shops in New Haven County. Each one of the employees had to be examined. We wanted to look at their left arm for some type of a laceration. And we had to have them provide a viable alibi. And we wanted their fingerprints.
Despite their efforts, the search yields no leads.
Well, at this point, we have no suspects. I felt I came to the end of the line, so to speak. Unless something new developed, there was nothing else for me to do. It needed a fresh look.
Then, one of Mazzicane's friends makes an unexpected suggestion.
Yeah, I know this woman, Mary Downey. She's a psychic.
At this point, anything was better than nothing.
Yeah, she's local. She's around.
I just had an open mind, and I felt if she's got something, I'll follow it up. If she doesn't, I'll chalk it up. And I left it at that.
The detective tells Mary Downey he needs help on a difficult case. She asks not to be told any other specifics.
That night when I went home, I did a little time walk. For people that don't understand the concept of that, it's basically you sit down and you place yourself in a position where you're open to thought. And then you ask yourself questions. What is this case about? Who's involved with it? Most of the work I do is based on auric pattern and energy fields, because that tells you stories. I got a very strong impression of an indigo auric pattern, and that was male, and I knew then and there that that was the perpetrator. He was the kind of person that had very little respect for women. He also was volatile, which means if you brushed him off, that would anger him. If he threatened you and then you fought back, that would anger him further. Then I picked up the impression of the female. Her auric pattern was blue. The auric pattern said she's dead and that she had been murdered. The father brought a jacket into
This
me
man
that
that
had
I-
belonged to the victim.
that I kept seeing around.
And I was using psychometry, was taking an object, holding it, and picking up energy sources from it. And that kind of gives me a picture of what was happening around her.
Mary's told no details of the case.
He entered the level, and she reminded him of someone. And his anger was not at her, but whoever he projected onto her. She did not know the person that harmed her. He was a stranger to her.
Detective Mazzacane asks Mary to come to the crime scene.
I don't always do that. I work better at a distance only because when emotion comes in the door, psychic goes out the window. I have daughters. Subsequently, I'm going to relate emotionally to what's happening to her.
But she agrees to try and focuses on the killer.
I got another impression of the man. When I saw him this time, he worked in an auto body shop because he was dressed in a striped uniform with a little name tag on his lapel with the letter E, and he was wiping his hands on a rag, and I could smell oil and grease. I think the strongest impression that I ever got of him was the injury to the hand, so I knew that he had a cut on the hand. I got pain in the forehead, and I just knew that he had had an accident at some point in time, that it caused a head injury and probably had either memory loss or that something had happened to the head.
She said he was injured during the Vietnam conflict, and he's got a plate in his head. I'm wondering, does she know something I don't know? Or is she legitimately getting these, whatever she's getting? So I says, I can't put this in her report. What am I going to do with it? They're going to say, this guy needs to go to the Laughing Academy.
Mary makes one final prediction.
I knew that in order to catch him, he would have to have been in a situation where he abused someone and then was arrested because of the abuse. He was not going to be caught for years and years. And I also said blood would tell.
But I feel something.
Not knowing really what that meant, but I figured blood would tell.
No one has any idea how accurate Mary's prediction will prove to be. Investigating the 1973 murder of 21-year-old Allison Baker, police turned to psychic Mary Downey. She provides clues about the killer and makes a haunting prediction.
I knew that it would be years before he would caught. But I said, don't give up hope because blood will tell.
In 1979, Detective George Mazzacane retires, with the Allison Baker murder still unsolved and gnawing at him.
I felt like I cheated somebody. If you want to be honest, you want me to be honest. I felt like I didn't finish my job. And I felt like at that point, maybe it wasn't meant for me to do this. Maybe I wasn't supposed to finish this job.
Years pass, and Allison's family fears police may never catch her killer. In July 1994, 21 years after the murder, a local man assaults his girlfriend.
Wait.
His name, Edward Grant.
Someone got the idea to check his fingerprints with the murder in New Haven.
One of them is a perfect match to the single bloody fingerprint recovered from inside Allison's car. It's a stunning turn that signals the beginning of the end for this decades-long case. Grant's fate is sealed when DNA testing reveals it was his blood found at the crime scene. Nearly 3 decades after murdering Allison Baker, Grant is found guilty and sentenced to 20 years to life in prison.
And the words blood would tell was really the thing that hit home, because now with all the new forensics, he was proven guilty by his DNA. So blood did tell. Did he have an injury on the hand? Yes, he did. Did he have an injury to the head? Yes, he did. Was he a garage mechanic? Yes, he was. The saddest thing for me was that the victim's father died just shortly before the case was solved. So he didn't physically see it resolved. I have great faith that when he got to heaven, he went right to God and he said, now I've worked very hard on this and I want this solved. And the case did get solved. So somewhere up in heaven, the victim and her father are smiling down and saying, it's done, it's over, it's finished.
Though it took years, the Baker family finally has answers. In California, another family struggles with terrifying questions of their own. Fresno, California, nestled in the heart of the state, among beautiful mountains and clear rivers. It's a great place for kids to grow up. Kids like 9-year-old Dylan Villegas, raised by his loving father, Evan Villegas. Evan's girlfriend, Opal Esparza, rounds out the small family.
Let's go to the mall. Get that toy that you want. Don't you promise?
After school, on August 23, 1982, Opal and Dylan head out to go shopping. Dylan's glad to have some time with the woman he calls Mom. They plan to meet 2 of Opal's friends at a local strip mall. But that afternoon, Opal loses sight of Dylan. Her friends haven't seen him either.
Keep looking.
Dylan, can you please come and meet your mother at the cash register? Dylan, please come.
Most parents have felt that jolt of fear, only to have the child come running around a corner. But Dylan does not come running. And soon, police must unravel conflicting stories from 2 psychics to reveal the truth behind perhaps the most evil crime imaginable. On August 23, 1982, 9-year-old Dylan Villegas goes missing in Fresno, California, while out with his dad's girlfriend and her friends. Fresno Police Sergeant Tim McFadden.
The store announced his name over the paging system. He didn't show up. Store personnel assisted them in searching the store. He still hadn't shown up. So at that point, they notified law enforcement.
When a child is missing, every minute counts. Police arrive immediately, along with the worried father. They hope Dylan just wandered off and hasn't gotten far.
You guys go that way. Let's go.
They check the surrounding stores in the strip mall. Dylan's not there.
Then we moved over to the pizza parlors, to the video arcades, places where a young child may go. We had numerous reports of people that thought they saw him leaving the store, thought they saw him in a video arcade, because we're showing pictures and people are saying, yeah, I saw him, but after we check it out and investigate it, we'll find out it's not the boy we're looking for.
Officers, family members, and volunteers worked throughout the night, according to Madera County District Attorney David Manier.
At this point, the police had absolutely no idea where the boy might be, so they simply continued their efforts, hoping that they might find him somehow by checking out all of the areas where he could be.
A police chaplain tries to comfort Evan and Opal, but there's little relief. This is every parent's worst nightmare. The not knowing, the helplessness. Everyone describes Dylan as a sweet, responsible kid, not a typical runaway.
He's kind of a shy boy. He doesn't have a whole lot of friends. The friends he does have are pretty much school friends. The boy did know how to get home, did know his address, did know his telephone number. We're always hopeful that some other relative has him. So we're always hoping that the missing child is still alive and that we will find him.
Yet with each passing hour, their hopes diminish.
Of course, there always was the potential that he had been abducted.
At this point, we're turning to look into interviewing some of our sex registrants in the city that have been known to abduct children.
In California, sex offenders must register so they can be quickly found in times like this.
Can you open the door a little bit wider, sir?
Fresno officers check in with every known offender, looking for any sign of Dylan Villegas, yet find no link to the boy.
Weeks, maybe 2, 3.
Over the next few days, McFadden exhausts every lead.
I went to his school, talked to his teacher. Where would he go? What does he like to do? Was he angry? Did he seem upset? And in talking to her, she said, we have a diary we keep, so I asked to look at it. And on the day he disappeared, he wrote in there, some days are good days, some days are bad days. Today's not a good day. Although I never met him, I sort of felt like I did, because I'm talking to people, they're telling me things about him, his personality, things he likes, things he doesn't like. So I feel like I know him, but I can't find him. It's frustrating.
And by now, they know they might really be looking for a body.
The next step was to move to a larger search. We used the local helicopter, flew over all the parks and everything. There were canals through the area. There were ponding basins nearby. After a thorough search, we're pretty well convinced that he's not in that area.
Police and the family cannot give up.
I'm in touch with the father on a daily basis. He was genuinely concerned. He was doing everything that a father could do.
Each time hopes are raised, they're only dashed again. It won't be long before those searching for Dylan turn to a psychic who has visions no one wants to see. In August 1982, Fresno, California police continue their search for Dylan Villegas, who disappeared while out with his father's girlfriend, Opal Esparza, and her friends. Sergeant Tim McFadden leads the investigation.
We're getting tips phoned in to us because of the media, and we're checking those out, but nothing that we can validate as being the actual sighting of him.
After 2 full weeks, police hit a dead end. No ransom calls, no sign of a body.
It just sort of fizzles down to a point where there's nothing left to do. You feel very frustrated because you know somewhere he's there, but you don't know where to look. You just run out of leads.
Then a local television station offers to bring in psychic Kay Ray. McFadden's glad to have her help.
I met Kay back in 1979 on a another missing child that I had, and she was very valuable in providing us clues to the location of the girl's body.
With the family and police agreeing to work with the psychic, the TV station flies her in from San Jose.
This is Kay Ray. This is who I told.
And then at that point, she became actively involved from a psychic point of view in the investigation.
This is the father.
Kay likes to start with what the police already have.
I feel like it's a waste of time for me to tell them about the case, or if they know. So they tell me what they know, then I tell them what I know about it. And we put the two together and see if they match and if they'll do them any good that way.
She works with photos of those involved.
And a shot. And this is the boy himself right here.
The picture doesn't give me any magic. I can just imagine them better.
The detective outlines Dylan's last known actions, as far as police know them.
And then I go from there. It's just, I run it like a movie. Here's the whole big screen. I start putting people in places.
I'm in the store. I see Opal. Opal is there. There's another woman and a young man. I don't see Dylan. I don't see him. He's not there. I don't see Dylan in the store. He's not there.
Kay keeps trying to connect with Dylan.
I was looking for the boy. To see if we could get him while he was still alive.
Any feelings that you know?
I had to look at the whole picture. I used my other 5 senses to go with the intuitive sense, because you only get part of the message if you use just the one sense. It's very important that you listen for sounds and you feel the dirt and you smell anything there.
It's a harrowing vision. Kay asks to continue alone with McFadden.
I've got something to discuss with her about that.
The family doesn't need to hear this.
All right. Yes. Okay. All right. Don't worry about it.
I could see the water. I could feel him when he went under the water. I do feel whether the heart is beating and whether it's stopped or not. So I felt that he was underwater long enough he couldn't breathe. Finally, his heart just stopped.
It was not an accident.
I felt somebody's holding him down under the water.
I asked her where. She says he's in an area near running water.
He's the water. It's.
So I looked to see what kind of water was around him. I saw the rocks, flat rocks. It was a river.
She said she can hear traffic moving by on a highway. She said there's some kind of quarry or some kind of place in it. It has a whistle. She hears a whistle every so often, like a lunch whistle. I remember asking her, if I fly over this area in a helicopter, will I be able to see the body?
I tried flying over, searching for him, and I couldn't spot him from there. I could tell they couldn't see him from overhead. There was overbrush or side stuff along the river bank that kept him from view.
We went out and started searching areas in our county that would match this description.
The team checks portions of the San Joaquin River in Fresno County.
It's a long river and it's a big county, so we didn't find anything.
Then Opal Esparza brings in another psychic on her own, according to DA David Manier.
And she also did a reading, and this psychic came up with a very specific story about a man who had kidnapped the boy from this department store, had then sexually molested him, had put him in a cardboard box where he'd smothered, and then had buried him in the sand.
And then he was buried.
The psychic drew a picture of a railroad trestle and indicated that in her vision, she found that the boy was buried in the sand somewhere near that trestle.
Opal says she recognizes the place,
Hey, I recognize this
the
place.
San Joaquin River in neighboring Madera County.
Yes, San Joaquin.
Two different psychics, two very different stories, and a lost little boy who needs to come home. The truth is about to emerge, a truth that will shock everyone involved. When Dylan Villegas vanishes in Fresno, California, psychic Kay Ray believes someone drowned him, and that his body's lying on smooth rocks and under a bush, beside a river that's near a highway and a quarry. A second psychic, brought in by Dylan's family, believes he was abducted by a sexual predator, suffocated in a cardboard box, and buried in the sand near a railroad trestle. Dylan's father's girlfriend, Opal Esparza, says she thinks that trestle goes over the San Joaquin River. The family searches the banks of the San Joaquin River across from Fresno in Madera County. At one point, Opal falls into her own psychic trance.
I hear him! I hear his voice! Over here, follow me! That way!
Right there, they find the body. Police Sergeant Tim McFadden has been looking for Dylan for 5 weeks. It's a terrible moment for everyone. McFadden's struck by how accurate Kay Ray was.
The boy was laying on smooth river rocks by the running water that she described. He was covered with branches under a big tree, like she said. A major highway ran within a very short distance of where the body was, and you could hear cars. There was a quarry or a mining business near there, and did have a whistle. I mean, it was all, the stuff that she told me was all present.
Because the body was found in their jurisdiction, the Madera County Sheriff's Department takes over the case and questions everyone present at the river.
So, Opal.
Right away, Madera County Detective Tom Turk has a bad feeling.
About who did this?
And it was just very, very strange that all of a sudden, these are the folks that find this body at this particular location of the San Joaquin River after all this time. Things just didn't fit.
Especially when he questions Opal.
During my interview, I started with being very compassionate about the boy, not using graphic terms. As I saw no emotion, I got more graphic, referring to him as the dead boy, and still no emotion whatsoever. This is a boy that was basically looked to her as a mother. Gut cop instinct, or whatever you want to call it, things didn't fit.
It's a shocking twist. Could she have actually harmed the little boy who called her mom? Detective Turk and Sergeant Fred Flores next question Opal's friend, Brooke Travis, who was there the day Dylan went missing.
We talked to her for probably 6 hours. She did a lot of rambling. We just knew we had to get her focused and maybe dip into her conscience a little bit about this boy being left out there.
When she sees a photo of Dylan, she breaks down with a stunning confession. She, Opal, and their friend Tyson Prentice killed Dylan.
We killed him.
She says 3 weeks before the murder, Opal ordered Tyson and her to drown the boy.
And they were about to try to drown him, but some joggers came along.
You know what? I don't know.
And they decided it was just too risky, so they went back home.
So then we took him back.
Then, on August 23rd, they tried again, this time with Opal there to make sure it really happened. They lured the boy to the river.
They held him face up underneath the water while he struggled and until he finally drowned. So in his last moments, the little boy was facing up. He was actually struggling, looking up, seeing his stepmother being the person that held his head and was leading this drowning of him by her and two people that he thought were his two best friends.
Opal Esparza confesses to the unimaginable crime. The sickening motive: jealousy.
Naturally, her boyfriend would pay a lot of attention to him. That was his son. And she didn't like that. She wanted to have all the attention.
But when she finally succeeded with her terrible plan, Evan was so distraught at not knowing what happened, she used an unqualified psychic to get them to the river. Then faked a psychic trance to find the body, hoping Evan would give her the attention she wanted. Also, she hoped to divert suspicion away from herself.
She thought that if the body could be found by the second psychic, that then the police might completely buy the whole story the second psychic had given. If the police would buy this, then she'd be off the hook.
Because he's still a minor, Tyson Prentice can only be held by the California Youth Authority until he is 21 years old. Brooke Travis and Opal Esparza are both convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison.
I was very angry. I was very angry that there was no, there was no reason to do this. I would love to have found him alive. I would love to have met him and been able to talk to him because I feel like I know him. But that would never happen. Couldn't happen.
It's the ultimate betrayal.
Well, this little boy wanted very much to have her in his life. He wanted her to be his mother. He called her mom, and he talked his father into purchasing an engagement ring. So he wanted them to be married, and he loved her.
Defenseless victims. Remorseless killers. A young woman ripped from her family without warning or reason. And a boy slain by one who should have protected him. Police refused to give up and worked with psychics to find answers for families forever scarred by a most terrible loss.